By the mid-19th century, London's population was growing, and so was the dead. Cemeteries were overcrowded, boosted by 2 cholera outbreaks in 1832 and 1849. With burial space being at a premium, bodies were buried, stacked on top of each other, and older bodies were even dug up to make way, their bones scattered across the ground, making it very unsanitary. It became so bad that the Burials Act of 1851 was passed. This prohibited any new burials within London. Parliament saw the solution in burying the dead in larger cemeteries. Richard Brune and Richard Spry saw an opportunity and offered another solution. They proposed to buy a large area of land 23 miles away in Brookwood, near Woking. This was far away from the sprawl of London and would transport both coffins and mourners on dedicated trains, much quicker than the horse-drawn hearses of the time. The London Necropolis and National Mausoleum Act of 1852 was passed, and the London Necropolis Company, LNC, was formed. The following year, common land in Brookwood was bought, and short branch line from the LSWR main line was laid. 2 chapels were constructed, one for Church of England, Anglicans, and one for Nonconformists. In London, close to Waterloo Station, a plot of land was identified and a terminus station was built to a design drawn up by renowned architect William Tite. Engineer William Cubitt oversaw the work. It was completed in 1854, and in November of the same year the new cemetery was consecrated and the first burial took place. Waterloo Bridge Station, renamed just Waterloo in 1882, was desperately busy and wanted to expand. In 1896 the LSWR presented proposals to the LNC to provide them with a new station in return for their station land. The LNC agreed, but cunningly attached a number of conditions to the deal. The LSWR reluctantly agreed. The new site was 121 Westminster Bridge Road, not too far away from the original station. Construction work started in 1900 and was finished 2 years later. The new location was equipped with mortuaries, storerooms, lifts, an oak-panelled chapel, first-class platform, and 5 separate waiting rooms with a ticket office. All traces of the original LNC terminus were destroyed by the LSWR with the extension of Waterloo Station. The LNC offered 3 classes of funerals, first, second and third. The trains were divided both by class and by religion, with separate Anglican and Nonconformist sections. Each would have their appropriate separate waiting rooms and carriage. The coffin would be discreetly unloaded from a hearse and hoisted to the platform level by lift. By now the daily train service had ended and it only ran as required. It continued on an ad hoc basis until the 16th of April 1941 when, during one of the worst nights of the Blitz, the LNC station was mostly destroyed by incendiary and high explosive bombs. A few weeks later, on the 11th of May 1941, the station was officially declared closed, which meant that after almost 87 years after opening and transporting over 200,000 of the deceased, the LNC was no more. After the war, and facing the expense of rebuilding the station and maintenance of the cemetery branch line, the LNC informed Southern Region they would not reopen. The assets passed to the SR, and the railway structures were removed, and the remainder of the track was used as a siding. Brookwood Cemetery, where I am now, still exists, as do part of the chapels on the site, but the only LNC structure in London to survive is the frontage of the terminus of the Westminster Bridge Road building. This land is deceased. It is no more. Formerly, and the trains were divided. The trains were divided. Concentrate. Doesn't help with these glasses.